Okay, and we're gonna go to Facebook Live.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining me this morning in our D10 virtual office hours. My staff, as usual, is standing by here to answer any questions, and if you have questions, please write them in the comments box if you're on Facebook, and if you're on Zoom, enter them in the Q&A section. So in April, I just want to remind you that we launched a Community Connections segment here with Zoom and Facebook Live. And each week we're going to be bringing new guests, and so look out. We're going to have our librarian coming up soon, and you're going to have subjects ranging from yoga instructions to our police chief who was on last week. So join us on our Community Connections. We announce them on Facebook and in other media all the time. And if you haven't yet opened up the new edition of our newsletter, please do. It's packed full of information, including crime statistics, which I'm being asked about crime statistics all the time. And if you're interested in what's happening in our city, please, there's a whole chart explaining our crime month to month and year to year. Our county, as a reminder, has extended the shelter in place till May 31st. But it did allow the loosening of businesses to go back to business. Some businesses, of course, those like construction of all types is allowed to resume if they're following procedures. And some outdoor businesses like, gardeners, pool cleaners, anybody, nurseries, golf courses. And if you're, the golf courses are open, but you can only play one person at a time. So it's not your typical foursome in golf, but they are allowed. In fact, yesterday when I was driving down Almaden Expressway, I saw a huge line just to get into the Almaden nursery. It's backed up onto the expressway. But if you're not out and about, please do. If you are, please mind physical distancing. Please wear a scarf or a bandana to help be courteous to other folks and not spread germs. I want to let people know that we have a food pantry open today with City Team Ministries on Menlo Church on Gallup Drive in Blossom Hill. You'll know that it's the old Dome Century movie theaters, and it's right next to Whole Foods. And that will be happening today between 3:30 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. For those of you who need help, Project Hope will be there as well. So there's no appointment necessary. You just drop in. And this week at City Hall, I know we've gotten a lot of emails on the garbage notices, the increase in garbage fees, and I know the garbage companies are basically making less money because restaurants and all kinds of other stores aren't disposing garbage. Rates are they were scheduled to go up, and but I've asked our Department of Environmental Services to rethink those numbers. It was a big shocking number to me, the 15%. So I asked our department to see what they can do to bring down those numbers. I don't want to see a rate increase when people are out of jobs. And so I think Carrie's going to rethink those rates and bring us different rates soon. But I did want to let you know that I am aware of this very much so. as a payer as well. And I did talk to the city manager about it and our environmental services department. This week, we also tried to provide help to those kids who are still without services to help them be students, like Wi-Fi, and many students don't have laptops. We've been receiving a lot of generous donations from Comcast and Sprint, T-Mobile, I guess now, and we're working with AT&T. So we are working on ways to help our schools, especially the disadvantaged youth out there that don't have amenities. And so we passed a memo yesterday to do just that. We also, last week, we passed a way to reduce the budget $45 million by $45 million. And I could tell you that each council office is going to have their budgets reduced, and so there's going to be a lot less activity, and so we're looking for ways to squeeze out the budget, because when there's a shelter in place, when businesses are not paying their taxes, when we're not getting sales taxes from our restaurants, we have a lot smaller budget, and so we have to close that budget. In any case, we also passed a rent increase moratorium last week until December 31st. So it only applies to units that are rent controlled. So if you live in an older apartment complex that is under rent control, where they cannot raise your rent more than 5% annually, they cannot raise your rent at all this year until after December 31st. And that also applies to mobile home parks as well. We have the federal loan programs have been reopened for small businesses and nonprofits, but applications are currently being accepted. But I can tell you that the funds are still very limited. So visit sba.gov for more information. And to apply, check out my newsletter on social media for details. There's a lot of great information that is out there. So now I want to turn it over to one of our great council assistants in District 10, Amal, and she's going to start reading
some Q&A. Okay, I'm having trouble hearing you, council member, but can you hear me? To everyone that is watching on Facebook Live or joining us via Zoom, I do believe we are having some sound issues with the council member audio. So please just give us 1 minute. Thank you. Just hang in there.
Hello.
Hi. Um, you're gonna have to, I think, dial in. We can't hear you on the. I can see you, but we can't. We can't hear you at all this whole
How the
time.
heck do I dial in?
Go back to the email.
Okay.
Let me give you the number.
Well, I'll go back to the.
The email I sent you.
Okay. Let me go back.
But everyone can see you.
Hello.
Can you try without the headphones? Adrian said he can hear you.
Stop the headphones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about now? That's fine.
Okay, everyone, apologies for the technical difficulties. I hope you're still with us on Facebook Live, and to everyone on Zoom, thank you for the comments. We are still working this out. So if anyone on Zoom can just confirm that you can hear us, and on Facebook, if you can put in a comment that you can hear us, and we will continue on with our program.
Great. Thank you, Emma. Why don't we just go through some questions here and go forward?
Okay, terrific. So I believe we were just going to hand it over to me to do questions and answers. And so if you do have questions, we can hear you now and we can see your questions. So please write them in the comments in Facebook. And if you're on Zoom, please enter them in the Q&A. So we have from Jill S. There are screaming engines and tires squealing every evening on Snell, Monterey, and Capitol Expressway. Is it possible to get cops to monitor these areas? And also there's a similar question from Michael G. Can we do something about all the street racing going on Almaden Expressway? It has become significantly worse since the shelter-in-place order.
Yes, so I've actually taken these concerns and sent them straight to our captain, and I've also been talking to our police chief about the speeding. We've actually, doubled our enforcement. We've gone from 5 officers for the city to 10. Unfortunately, there's only 10 officers enforcing traffic in the city of San Jose. I'm hoping that we could pull some more onto traffic enforcement. But please keep these. Please report this on 311, and if they're racing right in front of you, 911. This shouldn't be happening. There's been a lot more accidents lately, and they're more severe. I think that people are taking the fact that the roads are a little emptier and using our roads as race cars. And you'll note that even our helicopters actually enforcing traffic and looking at what's happening. We've had a lot of just death. Okay, it looks like my sound is working. I don't know what's going on. This is the technical nightmare. A technical nightmare here rolling up. But we are aware of this. Please keep the complaints coming and email me, and we'll send them to our police captain. There has been a lot of tickets given out, and we're going to do a report on how many tickets have been given out. But I can tell you that everybody should be telling their friends. It's mostly kids racing out there. Let's be careful out there.
And I do think before you had a little bit of technical difficulties, you were going to say that there was an increase in fatalities. Is that true?
Yes, there has been an increase in fatalities. And if you look at my newsletter, you'll see that there's been an increase in traffic deaths. We're at 17 this year. We were lower last year. So, the accidents are fewer, but they're more fatal.
So this next question is along similar lines. This is from Jeff. He says, we live in South San Jose in District 10. We have noticed an increase in helicopter noise late at night. The noise is so loud that it rattles our windows. This noise is disruptive to our family as well as our pets. Is this something you can assist with?
Well, we're using the helicopters to patrol the city, and there's also an emergency helicopter that the county uses for medical reasons. So there's a couple of helicopters that are being used. There's also the sheriff's helicopter. So the police and the sheriff's department are currently using their helicopters for patrolling. There's not a whole lot I could do about noise, especially if they find criminals in your area and they're trying to track them down. And they especially use them for speeders because they don't want to do a high-speed chase along our streets. So what they do is they put a helicopter in the air and follow the speeders with the helicopter rather than chasing them down and then call reinforcements in different directions. So the helicopter is being used for traffic enforcement at this time. And we it's tough. It's do we want traffic enforced? It's much safer to do it with a helicopter than to chase the speeders.
Okay. On a business topic, this is from Christine. She says, I am a self-employed independent contractor. My business was deemed unessential and was shut down. I filed for unemployment benefits, but was told I didn't qualify. I tried filing for a business forgiveness loan with no luck. Where can I go for help?
Well, there's a COVID Assistance Navigation Center, CAN for short, and you can call 408-809-2124. That's 408-809-2124. And they should be able to help you. If not, please do give my office a call, and we put you in touch with our small business development team office in the city of San Jose, and you can get some personal service at both of these destinations. So try that. And we don't really have control over these are state services and or federal services, a little bit out of our hand, but we'd be happy to help you file the paperwork properly. so that you're not rejected. Unfortunately, also some of this money is limited, so the sooner you get this done, the better if you're applying for these forgivable loans. And so please go to the CAN, the COVID Assistance Navigation. Phone number is 408-809-2124.
Okay. I want to remind everyone that's on Zoom to put your questions in the Q&A. And if you're on Facebook, please put your questions in the comments. We have time for just a few more questions. This one comes from Lillian. She says, how can I partner with District 10 to create my own neighborhood beautification community service project?
Well, you could talk to Michelle Dexter from my staff, and or Emma. She's on the line right here. You can email us what you want to do, and we will try to help you set up a safe distance project. So Molly from our Parks Department, if you're going to be doing this in a park, can also help. But work with some of the folks, some of the very talented folks in my office. Michelle Dexter handles a lot of these. And if it's a garbage or cleanup, you can also work with actually Michelle Dexter and or Amal will be happy to help. Help you set something up.
And I do want to chime in. April 25th was the Great American Litter Pickup. It was a citywide event to have many neighborhood beautification projects throughout the city. And they were unfortunately postponed due to COVID. And so we are working on trying to find safe ways to do neighborhood beautification projects throughout the district. And so if anyone does have any suggestions or recommendations, yes, please do reach out to us, to either Michelle or I. You can always reach us through District 10 at sanjoseca.gov. That's District 10 at sanjoseca.gov. Or you can always go to the website and submit an email to us through the website as well. We would be very happy to partner with any neighborhood organizations out there to work on these projects.
And Lillian, since we already have your email, we'll get back to you, and somebody from our staff will email you and talk to you about how to do that. Thank you. Thank you for your help.
So this one is not exactly directed to the city, it's more of the county, but I'll still ask the question and we can give you some more information. So from Barb, she says, we hear a lot about the COVID-19 deaths in California and in Santa Clara County. I would like to know the number of COVID-19 related deaths in San Jose. Do you have that number, or tell me how to get the number of deaths, not cases, in San Jose and other cities and towns located in Santa Clara County?
Well, this information should have been on the county's website. I think it's important that you log on to there for up-to-date information about all these. We've been asking for statistics such as these and hotspots, and I don't know, and I haven't logged onto that site for the last 5 days or so. Can that information, is that information available yet, Amal? Do you happen to know?
I believe that the county has not segmented it by city.
That's what I thought.
But
yeah,
that is a question.
Yeah,
that is a question for the Public Health Department in Santa Clara County. And so we will try and get that information to you, but all that information comes from the county. And so we're doing the same as you. We're reaching out to the county and asking them for that information. So there is a dashboard on the Santa Clara County Public Health Department site that you can find similar information, but I do not believe that they have it segmented out according to deaths by city. So I would recommend reaching out to the county, and we will also do that on our end. There is someone who wanted to repeat the information on rent control. They weren't very, they have a few more questions, but if you can just repeat the information that you provided earlier.
Well, I'm glad that they heard the information that I provided earlier, and people were.
We only got disconnected when it was my turn. Then We couldn't
Okay,
hear
so
you.
it's all your fault. I just want to make sure everybody knows. So basically, it's a rent increase moratorium, so that your rent cannot get increased till the end of the year, and it only applies to rent-controlled apartments. These are apartments that have that are built before 1979 and are already on a rent-controlled basis. It also applies to mobile home rents, so space rents. So it applies to very few, apartments. But we did pass that because we do have the ability to pass these things. It does not mean that you can not pay your rent. It just means that the owner cannot increase the rent until the end of December 31st. I hope that helps.
Okay, and we'll see if there's any follow-up question to that answer. So Steve on Facebook has a question. So he says, regarding the potential 15% garbage hike, the city has a utility tax on top of that, and it's billed via property tax collections. It suddenly became a landlord's obligation for all rentals. Sorry, excuse me. Has the city had discussion on giving some kind of break to mom and pop owners who are limited by rent control rules?
Well, I've tried to help owners because I know that they have to pay their bills just like the renters do, and we did reduce fees or eliminate fees for permits to do any building or refurbishing of your buildings. That has happened. As far as other reductions, no. The answer is no, we have not done that. And the rates increase has not been approved through the council yet. So, in fact, if you did hear me a little earlier, I'm not exactly in favor of this rate increase, and I'm working with our Environmental Services Department to make sure that we could bring that increase down to, I hope, to zero. But I've asked her to go to the drawing board and see what she could do staffing-wise, what have you. All the other departments are being reduced in size, and I think this is a horrible time to be increasing, especially at 15%. So I'm with you, and I understand none of the apartment owners' fees go away. I know that your increases in your property taxes remain, although you can be late without paying penalty. And so I know firsthand. I do have one small home that I rent out, so I do understand how your costs go up. And so if you're doing, if you're refurbishing a building, the costs for the permit did go away. So other than that, though, no, there are no other reductions in any fees.
Okay, and Steve, if you do have any further questions, please reach out to our office. I see that Danelle Fedor just commented. She would be the person to contact. If you have any questions, please reach out to her, or again, reach out to anyone in our office and we will point you in the right direction. So that was our time for today for questions. I'm going to hand it back over to the council member to wrap up with some closing remarks. Thank you very much, everyone, for being on, and we apologize for the technical difficulties with the sound, and we'll figure out what happened and make sure that doesn't happen again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Aman. Don't hang up, obviously, because
Yes.
nobody's going to hear me as soon as you
Yes.
hang up.
I'm still here.
But I do want to thank everybody also, let people know that we're going to be having a Saturday meeting at 10 a.m. This is May 9th, and that will be our next virtual office hours. We also have our upcoming newsletter, a segment called Community Concerns, where we bring in guests, and so we're lining up special guests from our libraries, our Parks and Recreational Department, our financial advisors, insurance advisors. We're trying to get our staff is putting people in place to get on these meetings. So stay tuned. I also wanted to give a shout out to Rebecca Boylan, who's not only involved with the YMCA, doing some great work with the YMCA, with helping kids after school programs or what have you. And I wish they were going on today, but she's also involved with the Almaden Rotary Club, who is trying to raise funds to put a all-inclusive playground in Almaden Lake. Be looking forward to that project coming up soon, and I want to thank both Rebecca for all her community service and the Almaden Rotary Club. There's a lot of great clubs in the city, especially in Almaden. The Almaden Kiwanis is also doing some great work. They're doing a lot of food distribution. I want to thank them for that, food collection and distribution, I should say. So many great people doing so many great things. I just want to give a shout out to those folks today, as I try to highlight somebody doing great work every week. So thank you, Rebecca, and thank you, Almaden, all the Almaden service clubs for what you do. Have a great day. Thanks.